Hey, welcome to the Sisterhood of the Travelin Bantha. We are your hosts, Denise
and Rexy, and we are recording with special support from Council Member Mark Collier.
and we're broadcasting from our galaxy to yours.
May the force be with you.
Always.
Hey, Herd.
What is up?
We are here with a really exciting episode. As most of you are probably aware, if you're here listening, the Phantom Menace just turned 25 years old.
It turned 25?
Right? 25.
You know,
It can like
it is
it can
25
drive and it can like
Hey,
get married and it can vote and
down.
its insurance rates went down. It can almost I think it can almost even run for office. Can it?
No,
It might be
37
to run for
Well,
office.
that's for president.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
depends on.
Yeah, we got
Local-
12 years before it can run for
local
president, but it
office.
can run for local office. So, just curious, would you vote for Phantom Menace if Phantom Menace was running for office?
Which character are we voting for?
Maul. Maul's running for office. Are we voting?
Well, he would die and then he would succeed.
And then he come back.
Well, if he doesn't come back till later,
I know, but it still happens.
it does still happen. If Qui-Gon is running things, I'll vote
Hell.
for Qui-Gon.
Yes.
Um,
Can we flag on president 2024? Hey! Keep an eye out for that coming soon. I think
Qui-Gon.
we might have an idea for upcoming merch
It'd be very fitting
for the election year.
for 25th anniversary. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
Qui-Gon Obi-Wan. Yep,
Perfect
2024. I like it.
Perfect pair.
I like it.
So
If you guys had to pick out of all of the Star Wars from Phantom Menace, who would you guys pick to be the dynamic duo to run the country?
ooh. What about Padme and Sabe?
Man, yes.
Padme and Jar Jar Binks. Yes. Padme and Jar Jar Binks.
Okay. Padme and then Jar Jar is the VP.
Yes,
right?
that's what
Jar
I'm
Jar's the
saying.
vice president would be amazing. But then we have like maybe Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon can be like chief of staff and defense. Yeah, it's a really good.
Oh, like office.
Yes.
The
Oh,
Phantom Menace.
I want to do that episode. That has to be an
Okay.
episode coming soon. I'm so excited about it now.
So over the weekend, we got to go to a very fun event. The local movie theater, Circle Cinema, which is also a nonprofit organization. They do a lot of really cool local theater, not theater, but movie showings. They actually had the premiere of Reservoir Dogs there
Yeah.
for season 1, which is really cool.
Yeah. They do a lot of indie films as well. A lot of anniversaries and parties. I know I've been there for several things that don't actually involve movies as well. You guys know Arlene. She has been on this with us several times and we love her dearly. We went to an event that she got to be a part of called She is Tulsa. I want to say it was last year, might have been the year before now.
I think it was.
Was it?
I think so.
Where everybody got all dressed up and it was very pretty and very fancy, and we went and we got to celebrate a lot of amazing women in the community these people were all nominated by somebody else because of the work that they have done in the community.
Yeah.
So somebody nominated Arlene and we all went to go support her, and we got to hang out. They showed the reel that they did for the event on the theater screen, and it was really cool. And they had like framed pictures of all of the women that were nominated.
It was really cool.
beautiful pictures. So we've done stuff like that. I've gone to art exhibits there.
Yeah.
Just a really, really rad organization, a really cool theater. They sometimes will get movies in that other places don't. Like I remember watching The Witch there because it didn't look initially like any of the other theaters were going to get it, but Circle did.
So with that said, they did a very special screening of Phantom Menace on the 3rd, that Friday night that it came out. And we had Star Wars costumers there. We were there as a podcast. Hey, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
And it was just a lot of fun. We got to talk to people and ask them some of their favorite memories about the Phantom Menace, some of their favorite characters, favorite scenes, take pictures. Jar Jar was there with me, enjoying a drink before the movie.
Yep. You guys will get to see pictures of those.
So I'm not gonna lie, sitting there watching the Phantom Menace in theater again with my Jar Jar being backpacked next to me was perfection. Like he had a seat like right next to me, and it was so
perfect.
Great. I don't know, like I forget how funny that movie was and how cheesy some of the things were.
Girl, let me tell you. Okay, so I was sitting right in between you and our friend Rooney. Hi, Rooney. You get a chance to watch this. We love you. So I have Denise on my right with her Jar Jar, and of course on the other side it's like Chris and Youngman.
Yeah.
And then on my left is Rooney. And they are just like, I think halfway through, it's literally just like, it make Rexy laugh aloud. And it was like Denise would lean over and be like, and it'd be something that would make me crack up laughing about the movie. And then I would calm down a minute, and then Rooney would lean over and say something else. She'd be like, and I would crack up all over again. I love the movie. You could just hear me and Rooney and me and Denise just in a row, just cracking up, giggling whenever Jar Jar would do something insane. It was the best. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
it was so perfect.
Fun. It was perfect.
I wish you could have been here with us.
But like it just brought back so many memories of when I went to go see the Phantom Menace live, or not live.
Wow, that sounds dangerous for a child.
So seeing it the first time it came out in theaters with my dad, like I was 8th grade, and we went to go see it on a Saturday, and where I lived at the time in Rancho Cucamonga, California. Yes, Rancho Cucamonga is real.
Yeah.
People are like, that's real? Yeah, it's real. We had in Ontario, the Ontario Mills, which at the time was like the biggest mall, because it was
not
like
Canada.
No, Ontario, California.
It also exists, I promise.
But the theater, we had an AMC like 30 and an Edwards Theater 22, and like, so there was like combined. No, I don't think so. But it was almost all happened last week too. Your battery went low. But almost every single theater was all the Phantom Menace. So there was probably like 40 theaters dedicated to the Phantom Menace. And I just remember going first showing Saturday morning, and I'm talking to myself and Rachel. But yeah, we went first thing Saturday morning, and we got to watch it, and I was so blown away because we got our Natalie Portman as Queen Amidala, or Keira Knightley, who plays both. They intermix. I will say, rewatching Phantom Menace, you can see when they're dressed up as different characters, like when they're dressed up as Padme or Queen Amidala. Because sometimes it is Keira, and sometimes it is Natalie.
It's so easy to just pick her out now and be like, oh, that's our girl. Nope, that's Sally.
And like when you saw it the first time, you had no idea that it was going to be a decoy.
You don't know because you find out later.
Absolutely none. And it, like, looking back now, when she does a big reveal, like Qui-Gon Jinn is not like super surprised, and so he's just like, yeah, okay. He just chuckles.
Yep.
But like little comments.
I love Rachel left us a little comment. She said, I remember watching it opening day with my dad as well.
It's a special moment.
I love how Star Wars brings people together. I love it. We just recorded our Women of Star Wars episode with our friend Amber. Plug for our Patreon. If you are not a Patreon and you would like access to those exclusive episodes, you can join our Patreon for $3 a month, all the way up to many more dollars a month, and you can get access to those. This was my first time ever getting to see it on the big screen. Blows my mind. Never had gotten to. My family wasn't huge into Star Wars. So we've mentioned that before.
Yeah.
Like, I want to say my dad liked it a little bit, like enough that like I was around it and I knew, like the very first time I ever got to go ride Space Mountain right? Like you see the droids in there, and I knew who they were. Oh, me too. My favorite my first roller coaster, Space Mountains. But I knew who the droids were. Like when you run in and you're in Space Mountain and you see.
I know it
I know,
blows
first
my
one.
mind.
But I wasn't old enough when it came out to take myself, and my family wasn't going to take me. And then we had the 3D re-release, and I wasn't really in a good situation, so I wasn't able to go. So this is the very first time that I've ever gotten to see Phantom Menace on a big screen, and I saw so many things that I had never seen before.
I'm so glad that like you got to experience that with friends.
Oh, me too.
And like
in the middle of you two, it's just the best.
Family and like, I just like it's so different watching it on the big screen as opposed
me too. It was amazing.
As opposed to watching it on TV because like the pod racing scene, like seeing it
big screen was just like mind blowing.
Forgot how long the scene was, and I was so glad that it's like a full like race.
Yeah,
like,
you don't get highlights.
Laps. It is then the whole time, and it's such
Love
an intense scene, and where you can start to slowly see the Anakin working with the Force. Like it was so natural for him.
Yeah.
Being like one with the Force, like
he didn't know. He didn't have a clue. He was just like, yeah, I'm good at this.
I enjoy racing. I'm the only human that can.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Like he's what, 9?
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, of course he's got this mindset. I mean, you know him more than I do. I have no children. You have lived with a 9-year-old boy before.
Yeah.
So very much. I mean, I can absolutely picture Owen just being like, I don't know, I'm just really good at this. I'm the only one who can do it. Isn't that cool? I am so awesome. And not having any idea.
At 12, he still does that.
Okay. I guess I can see that too. Hey, Owen.
But yeah, it's just I forgot how much I really enjoyed the movie. I forgot, like, I do have an unhealthy obsession with Jar Jar Binks, and this is just like put fuel on that fire even more. And
I thought I was a Jar Jar Binks fan. Denise has got me beat.
I love Jar Jar Binks. He's actually in my car right now.
I love it. And you guys have seen that backpack. You know exactly what she's talking about.
I told Matt, like, I need to make more Jar Jar content.
Yeah.
Jar Jar needs all the love he can get.
He does. He does. I've always loved him, and I didn't, up until, like, I moved here, I didn't have any friends who liked him. Like, I was the only one, and everybody else just hates him.
Like,
he's cute, and he's funny, and he's made for the kids. Like, kids can see him and think he's funny, and be like, oh, yeah, you know, he's silly.
I will say, I did not like Jar Jar initially when the movies first came out.
Oh, you
It wasn't until I watched them again with Owen.
Oh, okay.
And
so you had, like, a kid's perspective?
Yes. So, watching it with, at that time, I think he was, like, maybe 5. Like, Owen, he's the one that, like, slamming down drinks over here. But Owen was like, oh, I love this character. He's my favorite. And then I was like, oh, you know what? He's not that bad. He's actually funny. He's the light humor that you needed in this movie that is all about a literal start of a war.
Yeah.
Like, this planet's being taken over.
It's a heavy movie. If you take out, like, yeah, the comic relief and the silly, you know, we look back at it now and the CGI looks rough and the graphics are kind of rough, but you get past all of that, it's a heavy story. And to have, like, absolutely no comic relief would be dark. It'd be really dark.
It'd be dark. But,
and
like,
Jar just freaking amazing.
Leave him alone. Fun. And I
love
hate
it.
that, like, we get less of them as we progress in the prequels. But I'm glad they, like, still involved them in the Clone Wars. I've only watched the 2 seasons. Not even all the way to the 2 seasons. But the Jar Jar episodes are some of my favorite. Like, the one where they're like, oh, he's a Jedi. And he, like, dresses up like a Jedi to try to save Padme. I am here for... Did you see that clip that I posted? The new Lego, like, movie that's coming out?
The Jar Jar... about it. You actually were how I found out about it, and then after I saw Denise's clip about the Lego Jar Jar, I started seeing it everywhere. but
I
love that conspiracy, that like theory that Jar Jar somehow like a secret undercover Sith. It's one of my favorite fan theories.
And I love
I think it's insane, and there's no way.
But I love that Legos is feeding into it. Like, this is obviously, like, all the Lego content is not canon. It is just fun, here for the laughs. But, like, yes, we always appreciated Jar Jar.
Underrated for sure. Yes.
The fact that Legos, like, feeding into that whole meme and conspiracy theory is just, like, fantastic. And then I had like 3 people send me like 3 or 4 people send me this clip, and I was like, no, I cannot. I am dead.
Incredible.
Yes, I am here for it. And then I went home and I built my Jar Jar Binks Lego brickhead, and he is on my like bookshelf. And
send me a picture, and we'll drop it in here. I'll drop it in the episode. Wait, record it, edit it, whatever. I guess we're recording it literally right now.
But I love seeing him on the screen. I love having my Jar Jar Binks with me. And, but yeah, so let's just, some of the questions we were asking people. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite scene from the Phantom Menace?
Favorite.
Yeah, we're putting you on the spot like we did the people we interviewed.
I guess it's only fair. Sometimes it's my turn. Oh man, there were a few. I'm the Jar Jar of our friendship. Oh, that must be Kevin. Kevin, you are. We love you very much. Oh gosh, I think I really, really love when they're talking to the guns. They're talking to the Gungans, and the guns. Padme literally gets on her knees to show them, like, I'm not here for myself. I am here to save my people.
Yes.
And I am willing to, almost prostrate myself in front of you to show you that I'm serious and I really need help. That was one of my favorites because it just reinforces all of the things that we love the most about Padme. And I also really love, that Maul when he comes walking out, and it's just like he's got that like side profile, and that I think it's the second time that he shows up with the saber, but it's like the first time that you get that full double ended.
Yeah.
Oh man, he came walking out and Denise was laughing at me because I was like, ooh, and she was like, really? It's Maul. I was like, yeah, but look at it.
That, but then when Jar Jar popped up, like I filled myself.
Girl, I know. You were good company. Me and Rooney were right there with you. I'm so glad. Like, I freaking love that I have friends now who love Jar Jar as much as I do. Because I was like, I would get picked on and people hated him. And the very first friend that I ever actually made who liked Jar Jar was Jaro. Michael Chambers, one of our friends who might see this, maybe. Hi, if you are. I remember I was at the Naughty Pig here in Tulsa having lunch. It's a barbecue joint.
Okay. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I was having lunch with some of the other Star Wars people, and I remember I was sitting in a booth with Kristen Youngman and I want to say maybe Joe Fett, and we had somehow gotten onto the subject of Jar Jar, and they were like, "Oh, you need to meet Jaro. You really do." I think, if nothing else, you guys would bond over this. So I just sent him a message and I was like, hey, Chris said I need to meet you, so I'm meeting you. And I remember he was just like, oh, okay. And we started talking, we struck up a friendship, and it was like, this is the literal first friend I have ever had who loved Jar Jar. And then I met this glorious human being.
Jar Jar.
It's just so nice.
Anything I can find, I buy it. Like,
I live vicariously through her purchases. I cannot justify any of them. You guys have not seen.
My husband is just kind of giving up on it. Just like whatever. So I bought a bunch of Legos, and he showed his boss all the Legos that I bought. She was like, "Really?" And I'm not gonna lie, it was probably, I told you, like $300. It was like $500. I bought more.
You worked your butt off, though.
I do. This is from my bonus that I got this year from work. But like, he was like, really? He's like, I don't even just gotta embrace it at this point. And now my kid's favorite thing is to call me out that I am a child because I collect so many Legos. But back to Star Wars and back to Phantom Menace. I want to say I have a different favorite scene this time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I am this firm believer that every time I watch Star Wars, like I have a different like favorite moment, favorite character. Like my favorite movie changes, my favorite show changes. But this time when I was watching The Phantom Menace, it really got to me when Anakin's mom was saying goodbye. Like, it was so good. And I was like, she is such a good mom. Like, and she was just like, I don't know, having like my 12-year-old, if I could have been as strong and put together as she was. And like just hearing the compassion behind her voice and like hiding that like the sadness of seeing her son go, like that whole scene was so good. And I was just like,
imagine as a parent, it hits a lot harder too than like it made me cry on a totally different level. I don't have children, but I can imagine for you and for other people who have kids, especially about that age, trying to think about them going off and you will quite possibly never ever see them again.
I'm gonna say, and she knew like she wasn't like there was a very good real possibility that she wasn't gonna see him again. And then the whole like the scene where he was being questioned by Yoda and Mace, like that scene was interesting too again, like rewatching it. Especially now like we have dug into the lore.
A couple, but I can't
diving more into the lore of Star Wars and the books and the comics and having all these shows, like things from the prequels hit a little bit differently now. Like it was so weird Yoda being so against it, which we all knew, but I felt like Mace Windu kind of had like spearheaded that more than everybody else, being closed off to Anakin becoming a Jedi and getting training.
You see a lot of looks pass between Mace and Yoda when they're discussing, so there's a lot of like silent conversations going on there, and Mace was against it from the beginning.
And so it was just very interesting to see that and to see. I think Yoda was more open to it than Mace Windu was.
Only have time. Can't tell who it is.
Oh,
hello. Only have time for a scroll by, but I miss you.
Oh, hi! Oh my goodness! I hope you're doing well. Okay, she is one of my friends on Facebook.
Oh, nice. Hello, Denise's Facebook friend.
Rowan. I love watching her stuff. We also follow her on her.
Oh, good. That's good. Kevin just mentioned in here that he really liked watching us point at all the Banthas.
Yeah,
that was another thing. Like,
I didn't
they're on
realize
a huge screen. I didn't realize there were so many.
No, I did not realize there were so many.
Cool.
But yeah, we were pointing at all the Banthas. Rexy was holding Bonnie the Bantha.
I was.
Well,
I put her down for just a minute so that I could like have a snack. Like Eric had bought me some Reese's Pieces, and I was trying to open them so we can eat them. And I put her down for just a minute, and like a Bantha comes on screen, and Rooney's like, "Where's Bonnie? She needs to see the Bantha." So Rooney picked her up and was holding her on her so she could see the movie.
I love Rooney. Like, Rooney's such a great human being. I was so glad that they were there to watch it with us.
Oh, me too.
Let's see. We also asked favorite. Well, I guess. Okay, favorite character inside Phantom Menace outside of Jar Jar Binks. What's yours? We're breaking Rexy tonight. Yeah, it's not fun being put on the spot, is it?
Oh gosh, it's hard. Padme, Maul, Sabe, like knowing what I know about Sabe now.
Yes.
Oh man, I loved watching her, and I don't know if I was bothering Denise or not, but every time I would find something that they talked about in the book, like when the robes showed up, I leaned over and I was like, oh, those are the fire robes. Those are those awesome robes, because they show them, and you don't know anything at all about them until you read those books by Claudia Gray. and
Yes.
she tells you so much.
That's like the big dress that she was wearing had like secret holders for little blasters, and like there's the detail that went into these
I
dresses
want
that
to
is
say those were like fireproof too. Those orange and
yeah,
red ones were like
like
fireproof.
it is insane. And the fact, like the whole story behind all of the handmaids were picked out, like so Padme Amidala was the first one to ever have handmaids, and it was Captain Panaka that came up with this idea to have these like decoys and to have them all look like her. All of them have a special skill. We had one who does like music, one who does an engineer, one who does
All of the weaving, all of
weaving, yeah.
the, making the fabric basically be robot fabric.
And they train together to sound the same. They have the same mannerisms, so they could easily switch in and out without anybody knowing that it is a handmaiden or if it's Padme.
And I remember to help with that, I remember them talking about how like they didn't all train to sound like Padme either. They all came up with a different dialect, a different way of speaking, a different way of looking. And you can tell, like, whenever the queen, whoever the queen may be at that moment, whenever the queen is speaking, it's very regal, a very stiff posture. It's very
different,
it's very monotone.
Yep.
It's very kind of look down and not look at you in the eye. And what do you think about this? And okay, and I'm gonna play everything very close to my chest.
Yeah.
That was really freaking cool.
And
And that's hard. Padme, Sabe, Maul has a great character arc. He wouldn't have been my favorite until I had seen Clone Wars, though, and saw all the other.
I love when they're like, oh, now there's two of them. This is getting out of hand.
Oh, wait.
What?
No, it might have been, like, one of my favorite parts in the whole movie.
What?
The water, the giant water creatures eating each other. It was like, oh, here's another one. Oh, I'm bigger.
There's always a bigger fish.
Yeah.
I also really like the comment now too, knowing that the Amidala was the decoy, was when they were on Tatooine and Padme was talking to Qui-Gon and he's like, well, tell the queen that I'm not doing this or something. She's like, well, I don't agree with it. So they're like, but I think you are the queen.
Yep.
Like, that is you, like, not agreeing with it. It's always fun to rewatch and try to find all these like subtle hints of, is this actually the real queen, or can they pick up on it?
Yeah.
Or
Tanaka was such a good friend to them for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, there did come a point where, they split. And I don't feel like there was malice in that. I feel very much that it was just their values did not align anymore.
Yeah.
And so it was better if he did not remain in the position he was. And I always really liked him. I thought that he always did a really good job of trying to keep everybody safe and in line, like to be protected and where they needed to be. And just keeping them safe and keeping them where they were supposed to be. I'm rambling now.
Okay, no, rambling is like my best friend. But I also like rewatching this too, is where you start to see Padme's, because she's been on Naboo all her life. Naboo is a very like kind of wealthier planet. It's Middle Rim. They're not so centered in the core, but they're not Outer Rim. They live a comfortable, stable life. And her going to Tatooine and seeing that there's still slavery in the galaxy, and she mentioned, she's like, I thought it's been abolished, and they're like, well, this is the Outer Rim. The Republic is not represented here. They're not. Just seeing that whole interaction on Tatooine and freeing Anakin like leads
she
into.
Was shocked.
Well, yeah, and she became such a big like advocate for the Outer Rim and the people
and for like anti-slavery.
Yes, and to free all the people. Like, she truly wanted everybody to be free in the galaxy of Star Wars. And like,
you gotta think, like, that started with Anakin. She met Anakin and she was like, oh, you're a slave. And he immediately, and I love him for this, was like, I'm a person and my name is Anakin. I love that. And I really think that was when she was like, oh, this is a thing, like, and this is a small boy. This is a child that I have met. Something has to change. Like, this isn't okay.
And I love in her story that she does. Like, she continuously, she has which handmaiden goes back to Tatooine to go, like, they were freeing people, they were working there
Uh-huh.
to,
I don't remember.
I can't remember which handmaiden it was, but they did go back
Yep.
to Tatooine to free people, and she was trying to not hunt down, but
She was
trying to
find
find
Anakin's mom.
Anakin's mother.
Yeah.
Like, hunt down was the wrong word.
But she was trying to find him, and just to try to help put his mind at ease.
And it led to so much. And I wish that they could have touched bases in all these in the rest of the films. Like, we could have seen this in the Clone Wars or Attack of the Clones and in Revenge of the Sith, but so much of it was glossed over or just never brought back up.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that we have more content now, like with the Clone Wars and with the books that go in and fill in these like holes, because these characters do so much to try to change the galaxy. Like, they are the ones that are starting to
they're changing
make the
policies.
change.
They're standing up. They're literally going places and trying to enact change.
Starting the
Not
rebellion.
only just sitting in the Senate and arguing. Now we're starting to get people physically going to other places. Like, I don't know what I can do, but I'm going to do something.
Her hopefulness for the Republic reminds me a lot of the hopefulness of some of the people during the High Republic.
Yes. The more we're reading those, the more it's like, it very much is just they weren't jaded yet. They hadn't had to be generals. They hadn't had to be fighting in war. They still were able to be peacekeepers in the galaxy, like literal peacekeepers, not peacekeepers by force. And
Not war generals.
yeah.
And
it's
bringing
really nice to
children
see
in.
that.
Oh, that's another thing. I don't have time. I don't have the energy to go in on another tangent tonight about
No,
Star Wars. I've
that's
already
all right.
had a few.
It's okay. That's what we're here for.
Um,
But we did mention, or I think Denise mentioned at the beginning, that we did get to interview a lot of people while we were at Circle. So stay tuned for after we wrap up right here. You are going to see all of those interviews right here in
Yeah.
this episode.
We got a few. They're a lot of fun. Let us know in the comments if you have any favorite scenes from Phantom Menace, favorite characters.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
You and Rudy both, when Qui-Gon pulls out the communicator, she leans over, she's like, I just got an urge to shave my legs.
I think you might have shown you my legs.
Yeah, I leaned over to Denise and was like, this is what Rudy just said. And Denise like picks up her pant leg. And yet again, the three of us are cracking up.
I used to use that razor back in the day.
If I didn't still have it, I'd have a prop. But yeah, stick around and watch all the interviews. They were a lot of fun. We'll be dropping some pictures in here as well, and you will see more things on our social from the people we got to talk to and the pictures we got to take and what we've been up to.
Yes, so from our galaxy to yours.
May the force be with you.
Always.
Hi! So this is something really, really exciting. We are here with Sisterhood of the Travelin Bantha as special guests of Circle Cinema. Here we have Denise. We have Bonnie on the table. You can't see her right here. And we have this lovely lady who has volunteered to be our very first interview. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure thing. Excuse me. My name is Kenzie, a lifelong Star Wars fan, and I'm an OG trilogy baby.
I see you. Heir to the Empire shirt here.
Heir to the Empire. This is my book.
That's a book.
Yeah. This is a big Legends fan. This is my jam, Heir to the Empire. My jam, my jelly, all of it.
I haven't read it yet, but it is on my short list.
It is definitely with Thrawn becoming a thing. I highly recommend it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It definitely gives you context of how far he's come. It's interesting.
Oh, okay. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
So, have you ever been to Circle before?
Yes, I've been to Circle before. Was just here a couple weeks ago. I did Late Night with the Devil. It was a fantastic spooky movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Man, I love horror.
Yeah. Sorry, everything horror kind of bleeds in, so it's fine.
So, have you ever gone to see Phantom in the theater?
So I saw Phantom Menace 10 times in the original release, and I was at the first celebration when it went on in Denver, and I met my husband in a Yahoo Star Wars chat room.
That is amazing! Oh my gosh. This will be the first time I've myself and my family were not Star Wars fans.
My family was,
So slowly. You want to wave to the camera? We have a Jawa here too. Maybe we'll try to interview this Jawa. Watch your pockets.
sorry,
they won't steal your stuff.
sorry,
You're
sorry.
watching.
Sorry, Noah.
So what's your favorite part of Phantom? Because you've seen it 10 times in the theater.
I love. So I'm a Darth Maul girly through and through. And like I saw her over there in her Darth Maul dress, which
Yes.
I'm so coveting, by the way.
Denise has a literal Darth Maul back.
I love it.
Like
I
that,
do like
but
this.
Darth
Yeah,
Maul.
I love it. Just like
Yes. We have our beautiful Bailey right here
Yeah.
showing off her dress.
totally coveting that her universe Darth Maul dress just for the It's fantastic.
It has pockets. I love it. Oh, it's so much better. It's
Most of
fantastic.
her universe dresses do have pockets, so sorry, not a plug for her universe.
Okay.
But always good.
Yeah. And if you want to sponsor us, you know.
No, so the final duel with Qui-Gon, Obi, and Maul, like that's where
I
it's at.
cannot wait to see it on a big screen.
I can't wait for you to see. This is going to be fantastic. You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
Well, thank you so much.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for being our very first interview. Like,
Oh,
literally
yeah.
volunteering.
You're very welcome. Very welcome.
So excited. Grab some stickers and stuff if you haven't.
I got them all, girl.
Okay. Have a good night. Have fun.
So what's up? I am here with
Daniel.
Daniel, and we are at Cinema Circle, and we are watching the Phantom Menace 25th anniversary release. So, did you see Phantom Menace in the movie theater when it came out?
I actually did over at the AMC 20 here in town.
Okay.
We stood in line that went all the way around the building. For some reason, somebody drove by and threw tortillas at us, which I never.
no!
It's still a mystery to this day. Which they had a deep impact on our life just throwing tortillas at us. But,
Tortillas,
yeah.
okay. I will say, talking about seeing it in theater like 25 years ago, I missed the midnight showing. Did you do a midnight showing, or did you just do like a first
We
morning?
did the midnight showing back when
Yes.
midnight showing was still a thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
I miss midnight showing.
And we had to wait in line too. Like you couldn't just show up and have an assigned seat.
It was an all-day thing.
100%. Yeah.
So what is your favorite? Who is your favorite character from the Phantom Menace?
I mean, I could make everybody mad and say Jar Jar, but
No. It's not making mad. We here at the Sisterhood love Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar gets way too much hate, just in general.
He's like one of my all-time favorite characters. Like,
Oh, see?
legit.
See, I thought I was gonna be strung up for that opinion, but no, okay.
We love all things Star Wars. There is something for everybody. That is our
Exactly.
philosophy.
Jar Jar was made for kids, so it's fine.
I'm not a kid though. So
I am.
Rexy is definitely a kid. So outside of the Phantom Menace, who is your all-time favorite Star Wars character?
Probably Kanan Jarrus, but I mean, like, you know, I could go on all day. But Yoda was my big person I started with.
Okay,
I
okay.
had so much memorabilia about it. It was insane. So.
I say Yoda's a classic. Like he was there from the beginning. Well, almost from the beginning.
Right.
It was Empire, just about.
Right.
But let's see. What is your favorite Star Wars movie or television show?
Movie, it's got to be Empire Strikes Back, but The Rebels is probably my favorite TV show
Okay.
in the series. But I even love the new stuff, so like Ahsoka,
I
all of it.
love the new stuff. Like my all-time favorite is Andor.
I was gonna say-
You were so hesitant. You were like,
Andor-
ow, ow, ow.
Andor is like exactly what so many fans wanted, and then they got it and complained about it, but like that show, just the prison break episode by itself was one of the best moments of TV
One
ever.
way out. So like it was so good. So good. So what other questions are we asking? We are at 3 minutes. So
Okay.
thank you
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
interviewing with us, and thank you so much. We have another interviewee. We got Joe Fett. I still how I know you. We are talking Phantom Menace. So did you see the Phantom Menace in the movie theater when it came out?
I did. I think it was probably like the third movie I saw. I saw it when I was 7 years old.
That's young.
Got hooked on Star Wars since.
Okay.
Just buying all the Legos. Probably like the biggest merchandising ever. One of like the newer Star Wars. I had like the Jar Jar candy with the tongue, which is
Oh
like
my-
totally gross. You know, super gross. But like
I
all
love
those
the
things.
call out though.
the Lego sets, the cups, the Pepsi cups, everything, all the merchandising, Taco Bell, all of that.
Oh my gosh, they did so much merchandising for that movie, and I remember. So I'm a little bit older. When the movie came out, I was in 8th grade, and so I remember them. They had Duels of Fate on TRL. Total Request Live on MTV. They premiered the music video, and I was all for it because I was super excited. That's dating myself a little bit, but yeah. So it was the
So much
things,
stuff.
They pushed it so much. So in Phantom Menace, who's your favorite character?
Probably Obi-Wan.
Okay.
Like, he was young, kind of rebel, like Jedi, like stick to the books, but he still like kind of showed out his spark and everything.
Yeah, because he's still coming up, and he still has one at this point too. So I see it. Mine is Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
Slight fascination. What is your favorite scene from the Phantom Menace?
I would probably have to say the Duel of Fates, the big fight scene at the end, and also just the battle droids. Like, I thought the droids were so cool, seeing the big armada of like droids coming, guns, and everyone just flashing. Even though they would have lost if it wasn't for Anakin. Like, it was still crazy to me as like a 7-year-old. Like, what's going on?
There's so much. It was such a big scene, and like I rewatched it with my kid who's 12 now, but he was just like, "Mom, why does this all look like?" Because CGI was all bright and shiny and new, and he was just like,
Yeah.
"What is this?" I was like, "You know it, when we were kids, this was the coolest thing ever." But yeah, what else? What are we interviewing? Oh, we're at,
What else?
like,
Like, what's your time segment?
we're good. Thank you for listening to Sisterhood of the Travelin Bantha, written and produced by Denise McKay.
Edited and produced by Rexy Jupiter. Original logo designed by Tyler Rigney.
Intro and outro music is provided by the Black Empire.
You can find us on all streaming platforms at Travelin Bantha.
And join our Discord for fun-filled galaxy chats.
You can also sign up for our Patreon starting at just $3. You get exclusive episodes, merch, behind the scenes, and more.
And a special thanks to all our Jedi Knight members and higher. We have Rooney, Michael Beavers, Mark Collier, and James P. From our galaxy to yours,
May the force be with you.
always.